I felt very numb. Felt like a nightmare. And I just couldn't feel anything. I feel like I couldn't even cry sometimes. Personally, I would just give up.
At times we've said, oh, by this time, we've said this. Once we move here, we don't no longer feel what we felt at the apartment.
Right.
We still feel it.
Yeah, as long as you love Abel, you will feel it.
And people will say, well, you know, he's already in a better place. We had people say, just move on. You can't move on. You can't expect someone to be good at your timing.
Right. No.
It's in God's timing.
Yeah.
And yes, we get to choose what we get to choose where we sit at. We get to choose if we want to stay in this or get better. But what's your take on that?
Yeah, I know there is stages of grief, and you will go through a time that you don't want better for yourself. You will want to stay in the dark place because you feel like if you're getting out of it, you feel like you will, like if you'll forget about your person. You know, I feel like I went through that place where I didn't want better for myself. I just was like, I'm just gonna sit here in this dark place and just be. It's a very hard place to get out of. I guess I'm still struggling with that phrase, but you have the decision if you want to get out of grief or not.
Why do you struggle with it?
Because it's so easy to say.
Just get out of it.
It's so easy to tell that to someone who isn't feeling what you're feeling every day. And I feel like really no one should be saying that unless, even then, if someone is genuinely there every day for you and constantly helping you and talking with you through your grief, even then, I don't think anybody has a reason to tell that to somebody who is grieving to get out of their grief.
Even me being so, like as close as you were, I can't even tell you that.
No.
Or vice versa.
Right. No. Because everybody's healing journey is different.
Mm-hmm.
And it's at different durations. You know, you could be ahead of me. I could be ahead of you. You know, I can never say, hey, you got to come up to my level of this grief journey.
Mm-hmm. There's some days where you're feeling weak and I have to be strong for you. And then there's other days the other way around. But I'll be honest, there's days where we're both weak.
Yeah.
And we need a hand.
Yeah.
So here we are, 7 months since Abel passed. And it's like the longer it gets, the harder it gets. But the longer it gets, the closer to healing.
What advice would you give a parent who is grieving their child?
Sometimes I don't even know what to tell myself. You reach a point where you almost feel like you're going crazy. And it's like you almost see no way out of it. I don't want to answer this with a cliche answer. It will get better. Just hang on. Trust God. Because sometimes that's the easy way to express to somebody. And I think that's the least thing a parent like me wants to hear, that it's going to get better. I know it's going to get better. But in the moment, it's not.
Right.
Let me feel this until I'm completely healed and I feel like it's time for the next season. But don't Don't expect, because you see a smile on my face, don't expect that I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
So there's still triggers that happen every day. I can't stand when, in a joking matter, someone will call someone else the word, I don't even want to say it, retard. Stuff like that bother me. I know I'm drifting a little bit with your question, but the most important thing is latch on to God. But you see, I can't say that because I'm not going to say I let go of God. I haven't gave up. Every day I'm still seeking that place. When you're in so much pain, you don't even have the energy to pray for yourself. And so I guess that's what I mean by don't crucify me or a parent that has lost their child. If asked if they're praying, are you praying about it? Some days you don't even have that courage or that energy. Pray for me.
Right.
But don't just send me the praying emoji. Don't just say,
I'll be praying for you.
I'll pray for you. Pray for me in that spot. And I mean that with respect and really to give knowledge to those that don't really understand, because I'm still trying to figure it out. But I've learned to be very intentional about how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
If I wake up and I feel like garbage, I feel like garbage. I know I'm not garbage. And I'm not saying that, and not garbage like I'm nobody, like just tired.
Mentally.
Physically. Yeah, just bruised and pain. Like, I've learned to be very intentional about how I feel. When you're in a circle and someone has a conversation, like, for example, about a healthy child.
Mm-hmm.
If those are conversations you can't handle, or if someone's just talking about COVID, like that's a trigger for me.
Yeah.
Where people even saying, ICU. That's a huge trigger. So sometimes people don't do it intentionally. But there's people that, like we said, that some people didn't go through this. So they don't really understand the totality of this world. If you're in an atmosphere that is triggering you, it's okay to step away. It's okay to step out.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in an atmosphere that is going to jeopardize your grieving process, or your healing process, step away from that.
Yes.
If there's close people that you love, but they're triggering you with just a small conversation, like your mom, there's times, where she talks about COVID and I have to step out.
Mm-hmm.
But also make sure you make them aware of how you feel when they talk about a specific thing. Don't keep it to yourself, because that's going to damage you. And they had no intentions to trigger you.
Right.
To finalize this conversation, what would you say to a mom that just lost their baby?
To allow yourself to feel what you feel all the way. And it's not too ugly.
It might be for some people, but it doesn't have to make sense it's not meant to make sense for others.
The right support system will not run away from it. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Yes. I would really tell that mom, if I was sitting in front of myself 7 months ago, Britt, I would say, give yourself time to feel. Because when something traumatic like that happens, suddenly, unexpectedly, it's so traumatic that your body almost goes into a shock. You are numb. You don't feel anything. That was the case for me. It affects people differently, but for me personally, I was in shock. Don't mean to trigger you, but even on the day of the funeral, I felt very numb. Felt like a nightmare. And I just couldn't feel anything. I feel like I couldn't even cry sometimes. Personally, I would just give it. Sometimes it's not even about saying anything, but just being there physically for that person. So if I knew a mom personally that just lost her baby, something simple like a hug and a physical presence of being there goes a long way. Goes more longer way than saying something, you know? I would never say something like, you're going to be okay. They're in a better place. Because that's the last thing you want to hear, like you said. Something simple as a hug.
There's something that Mercy said that stuck to us, and that was, not everybody has the same heart. Or what was it?
Yeah, no, but not everybody has the same heart for you.
Not everybody has the same heart for you.
And that's true.
They don't necessarily have to understand what you went through.
No.
But that's the point.
Right. And I feel like maybe that's what drives a lot of people away from really being
a part.
Yeah. Like, I just will never understand them. So I just can't be there for them. No, that's not the point.
Yeah, you're not supposed to understand
them.
it.
You will never understand them. Never.
So don't try to understand, oh, why did she react this way when this day, or when we had this conversation? Why did she not text me back?
Yes. No.
Why did he not say hey to me at the funeral? I mean, just being honest. It's not meant to make sense. We don't get it already.
Right. No, it's not.
And you never will.
No.
Just be there. And so that's the end of this conversation.
Yeah.
When we do stuff like this, we say this a lot. It almost drives me crazy that I repeat this a lot.
Yeah.
But it's never for people to feel sorry. We're just trying to get through.
Yes, and we're just trying to encourage people with our story. Okay, guys, thank you all so much for listening to today's episode. Thank you so much for hearing and listening to us.
Yeah, we hope we encouraged y'all in just our open conversation.
Right.
So thank y'all so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. And we will be starting April's Room podcast soon. Still getting settled. We have some exciting news coming. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, we will continue to randomly post conversations like these. But we love y'all. God bless y'all, and keep praying for us. Keep praying for us. We're not there. We're not 100% yet, and I know you guys don't expect that we are.
Right.
But some people do. And yeah, just keep praying for us. Even if y'all see us smiling. We know this. Even when we turn off this camera. There's still when we turn off that camera, there's still a real world. So like this social media stuff doesn't make who we are.
Right.
Doesn't make our marriage. Doesn't mean we're always going to be this happy.
Happy-go-lucky.
But yeah, continue to pray for us.